We live in a world where there are so many things that are out of our control. But there comes a time in each of our lives where we're going to be forced to make a decision. Either stand up and take action, or stand by and have that decision haunt us for the rest of our lives. About a year ago, I had the privilege of interviewing a man who was faced with a life or death decision. Risk his own life to save a mother and child, or stand by as they were washed away under the powerful currents of the Passaic River. Now, I wanted to share this story with you because I often think, what would I have done? And I'd like to ask you the same. What would you do? Enjoy the video.
My name is Mike Feligno. I'm 52 years old. I've been a police officer for 32 years. I'm now the chief of police for the Elmwood Park Police Department, and I've been so for 8 years. Prior to the event on February 4th, I went into work that day, and it was like any other day. I have a radio in my office that I monitor, what's going on the road, and I hear the call go out of, 2 people in the river. So I'm like, I gotta go out on this and see if there's anything I could do to help. I was thinking of, taking over as command and, directing traffic, directing the troops. That's what a chief would do in that situation. So that's what I guess was running through my mind as I was traveling there, but that all changed when I got there. So I arrived at the scene. There was already a couple police officers there. There were some witnesses, and I believe there was a couple firefighters already. So I wasn't the first person on scene. I walked out into the marina area and looked out onto the ice, and you could see just the heads of people that had fallen through. And all I could hear is the screams from the mother and her pleadings that motivated me to say, I have to get to these people because if I don't get to them, they're gonna die. She was screaming, I can't hold on anymore. And that's when I said, I'm going. Gentleman had brought a plastic kayak across from the gas station, and it was just sitting there. It's not an ideal tool for this type of rescue, but it was the only thing I had. Because of the warm weather that day, the river was frozen over, but the top surface was like a slush, and the boat would not move at all. So I put it right at the edge of the shoreline onto where the water would be if it wasn't frozen, and I climbed in at the back, and I walked my way to the front, figuring I'd be better able to get moving in this thing if I'm towards the front of it. And I laid chest down, and I started to actually just put my fingers in the ice and claw my way to get the boat to move. The thing was moving like an inch every 30 seconds, and I had to use every fiber in my being to get that thing to move. The thought never crossed my mind that I wasn't gonna get to them because I'm focused on this and I'm getting to these people. They're not gonna die with me standing there. So when I finally got to them, the mom has the child clutched in one arm and she has the other arm up on the ice, the only thing that's keeping her up. So if she lets go of the baby, she's gone. There's a running current under that river. And if she lets go of her arm, they're both gonna go in. And I believe, in hindsight, if that mother fell in by herself, I don't think she would have stayed up as long as she did. I think maternal instinct kicked in and she said, I gotta do this for my baby. So I got close enough where I could reach in, and of course I grabbed the child first. I grabbed her by, she had like a winter coat on. I grab her by the jacket and I just yank her into the kayak and I put her in front of me in my lap. She's very lethargic, not really responsive, so I was very concerned. And now all the ice around us has broken. So I'm concerned that this thing's gonna flip over. And the mom, in a panic, of course, she's in shock, she's pulling at the kayak. My only plan is, I gotta get her out of this water, because it's so cold, her core temperature's probably dropping, and that's not good. So I start to try to pull her up into the boat. It's not working because every time I do it, obviously the weight is pulling us to the side. So I'm trying to keep the baby from falling, keep myself from falling. So I start to, position my body the opposite way. So I reach in, I grab the back of her jeans, where a belt would be, and I just start pulling and pulling and pulling and counterbalancing the kayak. And I finally get one leg up, and then I finally get the other leg up. And now I know, okay, we're good. Everybody's out of the water and we're good. But this isn't over yet, right? Because now we're out here. Now I'm freezing. I'm wet. My hands, I can't even feel them. Now I started to get a little scared. I even said a prayer. I'm like, God, please help get us out of here. Now it's pray for us to get rescued. So I rescued them, but I needed somebody to rescue us. So finally, a firefighter got into a cold water rescue suit. They hooked him up with ropes, and he started to slide on his stomach, and he falls through. So he then just takes it upon himself to say, I gotta get to them because we gotta get them in. So he just starts basically walking, and he got up to about his chin in the water, and he was able to reach the edge of the kayak. He hooks the ropes on, and everybody on shore starts just pulling us all in. When I get to shore after watching the cameras, they finally pull us on shore, and the first words I utter are, "Get this kid warm." I took off my jacket when we were still out on the water, and I wrapped her in it. Then I laid my chest down on her just to give her body heat. And finally she started to open her eyes, and I go, okay, good. Then she started to cry, and I'm like, that's a good sound. And the EMS people came over and started wrapping her in warming blankets, and then they ushered her out to an ambulance. There's no doubt in my mind that if we didn't get to those people as quickly as we did, they wouldn't have made it. So I got so many text messages, so many emails, so many people reaching out to me about this, because it went on the news immediately, and the word was out. Tiger Schulmann and Ron Schulmann were two of those text messages I got. And in Ron's text, he said a bunch of nice stuff. And then one of the things he said was, it's both a testament to your conditioning and your heart. And that's when the light bulb went off that, oh my God, you know, I didn't even think of that. He's right. The stuff I do here in the gym and with the program had a huge role in what I was able to do. Training in the Tiger Schulmann system and just in martial arts or in combat sports, I believe those type of activities, those types of sports, specifically Tiger Schulmann's mixed martial arts, prepares you for situations like that. You're in the gym, you're training, you're putting your body through things that normal people don't put their bodies through. So if you're called upon to act in a way that requires that strength and that conditioning, we're getting that every day that we train here. You know, when you're in a situation like this, your instinct takes over, your adrenaline takes over, and most of the time, your training kicks in. You know, looking back on that, I was prepared for that because it was very, very strenuous. An average person that has no training, I don't think they would have got there. Training here has made me stronger, has made me mentally tougher, and mental toughness is much more important than physical toughness. I believe from the physical training, you develop mental toughness. And now take that and apply it to rescuing people out on the river. You gotta be mentally tough to do that, right? I mean, person that's not isn't even going to try. Had I not, been continuing my training here at Tiger Schulmann's, the rescue could have gone differently. So I'm grateful that I was there and that I reacted the way I did.